ahead and do this. And so now we're going here. I know it's a video, I'm being funny. And the thing is, so you have this right here. So just to kind of like talk about this, this is the actual built structure that we're going to be drawing the elevation of. And so you can kind of tell it looks like this. And so now that we got an idea as far as what the actual photograph looks like, let's go and take a look at what the object will appear like. So I'm going to go out here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a folder here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this. Okay, here is the front elevation right here. So what I'm going to do is two things. First, I'm going to rotate that counterclockwise like that. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to just zoom out a little bit. Okay, what I've got here is the object that we're going to be drawing tonight. You can see the similarity between this and the photograph. So that's what we're actually taking a look at. So as you take a look at it from a front-on view, this is the appearance, okay? So now, well, a lot of you will be looking at this saying, okay, this makes some sense. This is a straight-on view of the house. And that makes some sense because I got some idea as far as what the house is going to look like. And that's what I wanted this to be for you guys. So getting into this right now, there's a few things that are going on. Okay, first of all, you've got, let me do this real quickly. Let me do this if I can, not that. But let me do this. I'm screen sharing. Let's see here. Yes, annotate. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to turn on my spotlight. Okay, so right here. Can you guys see my red highlight right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're recording right now, and up here, this pattern up here looks like shingles. That shingled pattern is what is referred to in AutoCAD as, does anyone know what that's called in AutoCAD?
No.
Okay, it's called hatching. It's called hatch. When you're working in AutoCAD, that's called hatching or cross hatching. So that's, you got that there. And then you got a cross hatch pattern here, which is siding. And you got a cross hatch pattern here, which is bricks. So you got three different hatches, okay? And they're very easy to put in. AutoCAD has a lot of intelligence. Now, you've got your basic dimensions here. You've actually got a peaked roof here. And you actually have a bolded line around the perimeter, which is actually on a layer called profile. So we'll work on that, and we'll start to work this out and put this together. Notice at the bottom, you have this, okay? The bottom is the basement. The basement is actually what is under the ground. Therefore, that's why it is being indicated here by dashed lines. When you have dashed lines, that indicates it's something that's not visible in the view you're at right now. And that wouldn't be, because it would be underground. So you'd be looking at it under the ground. So that's how that works right there. So that's why that's done. So you see that, and you've actually got this. So take a look at this right now. This is what it's going to look like. And this is the actual file that you'll download. You've got that. Now, along with this, there is another file that I gave you. And the other file that I gave you actually looks like this. It's actually got details. Okay, I've got details here. And the details look like this. Now, the details give you the dimensions that you need to complete this particular assignment. All right. And it tells you things such as the windows. The windows have mullions that are 2 inches typical. Up here is the basic information to construct the ceilings, rather the chimneys. You got this right here. This is your chimney information. So all those are there. And then over here, you've got the dimensions for the arched window right there. So you got these. In addition to that, you've got over here, this is your hatch patterns, the siding and the actual pattern, the angle and the scale. So I've got all this in here right now. So these dimensions do not appear on the final assignment. You're simply going to hand in the front elevation that looks like this. And you'll notice that I drew this using the dimensions, but I didn't include them. And up here with the chimney, I didn't include the dimensions up here. I used them. So I went ahead and I used this page right here and I drew it, but I didn't put the dimensions up here. This is all you have to hand in. This is, I should hand in. This is all you have to submit on Blackboard. It's just this assignment right here. The details are simply for you to have at the ready. So because you're going to have these questions, and I didn't want to put all the information out here because it got too busy. So I wanted to make it cleaner. A lot of what you try to do when you're doing any kind of drafting is you want to make it as clean as possible. And sometimes having a detail sheet is the best way to go about that. So let's get started. Jumping into here right now, as I take a look at this, I've got these different items. So I've got this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start AutoCAD. So when I go to AutoCAD and I go ahead and, oh, actually that's, interesting. I thought I had, looks like I have it open already.
Can I interrupt for a moment?
Sure.
The last two templates, floor plan 2 and this elevation one, as I open them in AutoCAD, I keep getting a warning that I have unresolved errors.
Oh, yeah. They're actually not errors. What they are is they're actually for external references. When I drew this, I used an external reference. I actually used a PDF that I actually pasted behind it. So it's not an error so much as it's just a, yeah, it's not an error. It's actually a, what would it be? It would actually
Notification.
Reference file.
Yeah, it's basically just a notation for reference file. So don't even worry about that. And I get that. So don't worry about that. That's going to show up. I should have taken that off. I got to update that template. So thanks for telling me though. But that's not going to hurt anything. It will not affect anything. Okay, what I've got right now, I got this front elevation south field, but it is in the wrong location. So let me do this. I'll do a save as. And it is in CIT 112 down here. CIT 112, 924, 2020. Okay, so I'm going to close out of this. CIT 112. Okay. All right, CIT 112, front elevation. Okay, I'm going to close out of there. And I'm going to go into AutoCAD 2022. I'm going to close out of 2020 just because I want to make sure we're all in the same place. I'm going to go to open here. And I'm going to go out to the location that we had discussed. So out to here and D, and then Community College, CIT 112. All right, front elevation, south field. Yeah, that's one. All right, there it is right there. Okay, so this is what we're going to draw. Okay, so you'll look at this and you'll notice that it has the black background because we're in AutoCAD. Other than that, it's what we had seen before. And what you're going to see right here is there is an exterior line around the main aspects of it. Now that right there is a fairly typical convention. Okay, that is actually a thickened line. And this right here, I can actually turn on the line weight down here. I can turn the line weight on and off, so I can just actually see how that works. And turning that on just gives a boldness to it, to the actual projection of the structure. So I have that there, and this is what we're going to draw right here. So let's jump in and let's see how we do this. So what we do is, first of all, we would go ahead and we would go to Blackboard. And what we would do is we download the template. So we go over here to week 5, front elevation. And when we go there, we have this template. So we're going to download the template, front elevation, south field template. And then you'd also download the other files right there that we talked about, which would be the actual, the PDFs, okay? This is the PDF of the actual elevation, and this is the details. So you have those right there. So I'm going to build this using, I don't want that open. I'm going to build this using the template. So I'm going to go ahead and start with new. And it prompts me for a template. I'm going to go find the template, which is actually going to be here under downloads. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to choose front elevation south field. I'm going to use this one. I got multiple copies of it, but that's okay. So now I'm going to do, now that I have this, what I want to do is I want to think, okay, well, how would I get started? Well, first of all, let's take a look at this and see what it looks like. So if I go to this one right here, it's got this information and I see a few things. One of them is the overall length of the structure on the bottom is 42 feet. So it's 42 feet. And then after that, it goes up this distance, which is 17'2". So 42 feet, 17'2", and then it goes out a little bit. Now, 42'6" is the overall size of the roof. So therefore, if I'm drawing up to this point right here, I would just go over in this direction, half that distance. So how far would I go over to the left? You guys with me? Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So you got 42 feet 6 and you got 42 feet. If I want half of the 42'6" to appear on each side, how much will go on each side?
3 inches.
Yeah, 3 inches. So I'd go over 3 inches and then up 8 feet, then all the way over my 42'6" and then down. And I'm just going to draw the perimeter. So I'm going to start with that. So let's start with the perimeter. So I'm going to go here. I'm in drawing 1. And I'm going to start by first, I'm going to save this as. I'm going to save this as front. I'll just save it to my desktop. And I'll call it front elevation. And we'll do this front elevation. Right in, like that. And I think I got to number it. I'll number it 3. Not sure what else I've done out here. Okay, so I'm going to start by changing my layer. Now there's a layer that I created for you guys called profile. I'm going to go to profile right here. Now watch what I get right here. So I'm going to start. And for this one, I think for this one, I'm just going to use a line instead of a polygon. I think that's going to work out right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click. Yeah, I can go with either direction, you know, as far as this goes. I'm going to start right. I'll start over here. I'll start at the right and go back this way. So I'm going this direction. And we said that the total distance was 42 feet. So I type in 42 feet. And then I go up 17 foot 2, 17 foot 2, boom. Then over 3, and then up 8 feet, 8 feet, boom. And then I go over 42 feet 6, 42 feet 6, boom. And then down 8 feet. And then over 3 inches again. And then I'll just right click and choose close, and it should close perfectly. And it does. Now at this point, I have the basic profile of the house, the basic profile, not including the chimney and not outlining the projection, but we got to start. So we got it right there. Now, a couple things I would point out, what I could do right now is always a good idea to put in some dimensions. So I'll put in some dimensions right here just to make sure we're not building on a bad foundation. Always a good idea. So you got 42 foot 6 here, and the bottom should be 42 feet if I did it right. And I did. And then over here on the left, this should be 17 foot 2 going from here to here. And then this next one up here should be 8 feet. And I go there, and boom, there we are, 8 feet. So we got that right there, and that's that. So we got that going on right there. All right, there we go. And so now that we've got that, we've got the basic perimeter defined out there. Now, we got to build it out. So how do we build this out? Well, to build it out, there's a few things you'd want to do. One of the things you've got right here, for instance, is I've actually got this part, this projection of the house right here. And this total distance is 7 feet plus 3 foot 6 plus 3 foot 6, which is 14 feet. So this projection is 14 feet. And then I'd go ahead and draw a line straight up here. So it's 14 feet. And then I'd go ahead and connect those lines. So I'll do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my line command here. I'm going to touch it here and pull it over. And I'm tracking right now. And I didn't start the line command. I'm tracking over. I'm going to type in 14 feet like that. Then I go straight up. Okay. And then I go here. I'm going to touch it here like this. I'm going to pull this over. And this is the object snap tracking that we talked about. And I'll go over here and go to there. And I put them on the wrong layer. So I have to fix those, which is not a big deal. I select them. And then once I've selected them, to change, if you put something on the wrong layer, it's easy to fix. Did I tell you guys how to change an object that's on the wrong layer? Did I tell you guys that yet?
I believe so.
Okay. In any case, I'd select the object, and then I'd go here and I would choose the particular item that I want. And in this particular case, it's going to be profile. And my lovely wife just brought me some tea and some Gatorade. Say hi, Julie. And my dog.
Hi, guys.
That's my wife. You can say hi. And
Hello.
Hello.
and my dog just came in too, who's always curious because maybe some crumbs will fall. So anyway, that's how things work here at the Brennan household. So that's what we got going on here. And we are getting over here. So now what I've got this basic information here, and I've got this. So now I want to build out, next thing I want to do, I could build a chimney. So let's look at the chimney. The chimney's over here. It's 2 feet over, and then it's 26 feet and 7 inches up. So 2 feet, and then 26, 7 inches up, 26, 7. So I'll just go ahead and draw that just because it's an easy hit. So I'll go over here and I will do this. I'll use profile and we'll go to line and we'll start it here and we'll go over 2 feet, which is 24 inches, and then up 26 foot 7, 26 feet, 7, boom. And then we'll go over here and I'm going to go ahead and touch this here and pull it up. Did it get it? I think it did. I'm going to pull that right down. So we got that. So now at that point, I have that. Did I do that right? I don't think I did. I think I missed it. Yeah, I didn't go far enough over. I should have gone 2. See, I made an error. I should have gone over the full 2 feet and I didn't. So now I got to go fix that. Okay, so that's on me. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to just click on this and move it over. What's that going to be? 3 inches? I think so. And yeah, that'd be right. And then I would just go ahead and join those together. Boom. Boom. Okay, got that. Okay, so that gives me the basics. So I'll save it again, and now we're good to go. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Okay, as you're working in AutoCAD, by the way, I always try to break it down into tasks, break it down into chunks. And then that way, then you kind of fill it in and you go ahead and make that work like that. So we have this. Okay, now the next thing I want to point out, by the way, with your line weight, I've got my cursor on this down here. This is where I can turn my line weight on or off. Okay. Okay, so now you see it. Now you don't. I'm clicking this icon down here. If you hover your cursor over it, it'll tell you that that's line weight display. So I'll just leave that off for right now. And what I'm going to do now is I want to concentrate on this. Oh, there's Max. Okay. Hello, Max. How are you? Oh, we're just joining right now. Hello, Max. Can you hear me? All right. Max was trying to show up. Okay. Looks like Max is kind of showing up, maybe sort of. I know he's trying. All right. And yeah, hi there, Max. Looks like you just kind of, well, are you? Yeah, you're there. Okay, good. Good to have you here, Max. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Good to have you here. Okay, we're going to continue on here. And so, and I'm recording all this, so you'll be all set there. Okay, so what I've got here is I went ahead and put that together and we are good to go. So we actually did by the way, if this happens, these are actually just layouts right here. And if you wind up on the wrong one, you can click on model and you're good to go. And then we go ahead and continue on. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is what I want to do now is I want to put in this. I want to go ahead and I want to give myself this peak. Now this peak right here is 21 feet, 8 3/4 inches up. 21 feet, 8 3/4 inches up. So that means to do that, I actually want to start from the midpoint here and go straight up 21 feet, 8 3/4. That just gives me something to work with. So I'll do that. And for right now, I'll leave it on the profile layer. And I'll go line and I'll go from, I want to go right from, now I'm going to show you a little trick here. If you want to pick a point between two other points, there is actually an object snap you can use. If you hold down your shift key and right mouse click. Now what I did is I held down my shift key and I right clicked my mouse. And when I did that, I actually have a menu right here, which has some other tools. One of which is mid between 2 points. Okay, this is just a cool little tool. There's more than one way to do this, but I'm just going to show this to you. So I go to mid between 2 points, and then I click on the first point and the second point. And when I do that, it gives me this right here. And that's awfully pretty. So I like that right there. So now I'm going to go up 21 feet, 8 3/4. Okay, so up here, 21 feet, 8.75, like that. Like that. Okay, so that's the line right there. That's the line that I have right there. And I'm going to leave that there because that's going to be my peak. That is the peak where it meets. So all the way up to the top is the peak right up there. Okay, so I've got that. Now I got to figure out how this actually works together. So over here, I've actually got this distance, which is 15 feet 8. So 15 feet 8 is the actual extension of this gable. Okay, the gable actually it projects out from the front of the house, and it projects to the sides. And the total distance is 15 feet and 8 inches. Now, 15 feet 8 inches divided by 2 is actually 7'10". It's 7'10", just so that you're aware of that. So if I offset that, I can actually get my 7'10" distance. So I'll go ahead and do that. And I'll do that right now. So I'll offset that line, 7'10". So offset it. I just typed the letter O. You can do that, or you can click on the offset command. And when you click on offset, it asks you to specify an offset distance. So I'll type in 7'10", like that. That's my enter key. Then it asks me to select the object to offset. So I'm going to click on this object here, click there, and I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to click on this one and go over there. So it goes over the outside, but that's how it's supposed to be. Now, let me verify that that's accurate by, now another thing you can do here, if you don't want to put in dimensions constantly, you can actually go up here and you can just use this little tool here. This allows you just to measure distances. So if I go to distance right here, I can go ahead and measure from here over to here and see what we got. So we got 15 foot 8 and we got that right there. So that's what we have going on there. Okay. Okay, so now at this point, what I want to do now is I want to continue on drawing here. And one of the things that I've got here is I have this little 5-inch cable offset, meaning that this distance right here, I got my cursor right here, that's 5 inches up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw that. So to draw that, I'm going to start with my line command here. I'll go ahead and click it here and go up 5. So 5 inches right there. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do this. I'm going to connect right to there. So I just connected that part of it. Now, Now that I've got that, I've got the basic elements put together. And now what I want to do is I need to have this line right here actually offset down here so that it'll actually be there. So I'm going to use the offset command again. So I got this line here and I want it actually to intersect right down there. So to do this, I'm going to use my offset command. I go to offset. And this time, instead of typing in a distance, you'll notice that it says specify offset distance or. When it says or, it means there's more than one option. So down here, if I right click my mouse, you'll see that through is one of the options. So I'm going to use the through option. The through option allows me to take an object and to make a copy of it through another location. So I'll say through, and then I click on this object right here. I'm going to offset it through here. I want to offset it right through to this point right there. So I do that, boom. And that gives me exactly what I want. And then I just have to extend this line over. And trim and extend are located right here. You got trim and you got extend. So I just extend and I'll click on this and I'll extend that right to there. And that's really good. That looks really good there. And so we're in good shape right there. Then what I would need to do, what command would be good to take this and actually copy it over to this side? What would be a good command to do that?
Mirror?
Yeah, mirror. And so I'll use mirror. So you go up here to mirror. I click on mirror and I go ahead and do this. And I go ahead and pick my, I first my mirror line, go down here. And when I do this, it should go ahead and mirror it perfectly right like that. Boom. And we'll find erase source objects. No, I don't want to do that. So now at this point, I would, I want this line to actually be over here. And when I do that, we are looking pretty darn good. That's actually what the roof should look like. So let's put a dimension on there, verify that we are where we need to be, which is 21 feet, 8 3/4. So go to my dimensions and I'll go ahead and use my linear. I'll click from the top here and go down to here and pull it over and bada boom, bada bing. Since we're in New York, you can say bada boom, bada bing. You can do that. Okay. It's okay. It's not against any kind of union law. You can do that. Okay. So you've got
Bada
that.
bing, bada boom.
You can do that too. So in the state of New York, when I'm teaching my class, I'm teaching people all throughout the country. And what I'll do is I don't ever say bada boom, bada bing. But what I'm doing is when I'm teaching, I try to keep it kind of light. So I'll say, so anyway, you click the mouse, you pick the point and bada boom, bada bing, it shows up. Then I always say, and I can say that because I'm in the state of New York. And it usually gets a good laugh. So when you're talking with people out of the state, you can say that and they'll get it. Okay, anyway, so we got this. So what do? We went ahead and we put this together. We're looking pretty good so far. And we've actually got a lot of what we need in place already. That was pretty much it. Now we got to get rid of some of this extraneous information because we've got a lot of stuff that kind of overlaps and is kind of messy. So to do that, we'd use the trim command. So up here, the trim command looks like a pair of scissors. So you go to trim and I'll go ahead and I'll just go ahead and pull my cursor. Oh, by the way, to trim, let me bring that back. If I right click, I can go to recent input. I can use trim. And what you can do there is you can either click on what you want to get rid of, or you can draw a line through what you don't want anymore. So I could actually click and miss it and just draw right through it like that. That's something that's pretty cool. If you've not been accustomed to some of the new stuff in AutoCAD, that's from at least 2020 or so. And that's how we do it. Now at this point, I don't need this line and I don't need this line. And now it's like, okay, that's looking like something now. And I can go to trim and I can go ahead and do this, get rid of that, and get rid of this, and get rid of that. Okay, now at this point, we are looking pretty darn good. So now that I've got all that dimensioned and it looks good, I'll just do one more dimension just to make sure that I'm not crazy. And I'll go here and make sure that's 7 feet. Or 14 feet rather, and it is 14 feet. We are good to go. Okay, so now that I've got that, I shouldn't need this line anymore. We're going to leave it just for right now. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now at this point, I could actually start to put in some of my detail. I could do that. And part of the detail right here is something like right up here, you've got this, this hatch pattern. Now this hatch pattern right here, if I click on it, I can actually go ahead and see what the hatch pattern is. The hatch pattern is ARB88, that's what it is. The angle is 0 and the scale is 1. So ARB88, the angle is 0 and the scale is 1. So if I want to do this, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wax bold. I'm going to go here. I'm going to change my layer to roof and I'll put in some hatching. Now, where's the hatching? Well, the hatching is a draw element. So you'll see that it's right here. It's on the draw panel and you've got it right there. And when I hover my cursor over it, it says hatch. So I'll click on hatch. and I'll go ahead and look for the pattern. And there's a list right here, and I can scroll down. And what I want is I want AR. Was that ARB88? I think it was ARB88 angle 0. Yeah, I think we're good to go there. So go ahead and click inside there, and boom, looks good. Now, one thing you can do right here is look how the shingles are right now. Have any of you guys ever put shingles on a roof?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
A
Well, then,
gazebo.
what's that?
A gazebo.
A gazebo. Okay. Well, I've done shingles too. I've done some shingling too. I had some friends that were contractors, so I couldn't avoid it, but I wasn't good at it, but I did shingles. Now, one thing you can do here is in real life, you would never have a shingle that kind of finishes like that. That wouldn't happen. So therefore, you can set an origin. You follow me here? And what we're going to do right here is we're going to say where we started. So I'm going to say set origin. Now watch what happens when I do this. I'm going to click this lower left corner and watch what happens. Hey, look at that. I've got a full shingle right there, which is actually more correct. All right. And who was it that said that they've actually done a gazebo before?
That was me, Nick.
Oh, Nick. Okay. Yeah. Well, Nick, I was going to say that, like, so what you would do is you'd start with a full shingle and you'd move on from there. Right. And if you had a 3-tab shingle, you go ahead and have that, and that's how that works. So that's what we're doing. And so when you do that, it allows you just to have a more correct pattern. You know, that's how that works right there. And you might
I
start from
believe
this.
they were called architectural shingles, so it was a very odd project.
Yeah, architectural shingles are pretty much the standard now. Yeah. And so, yeah, architectural shingles are the ones that basically are kind of staggered in their appearance, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be a little bit crazy. Yeah, because they're not uniform. Yeah, so that's as far as that goes. But it's that particular thing that actually makes them so popular. Anyway, most of the shingles put on houses now are architectural, so that's what they call them. So anyway, yeah, so we just put shingles on the house, whole lot easier than being out in the hot sun and hammering with what do they call that? What do they call that hammer? A hatchet hammer, I think. At least we used hatchet hammers when we were doing it because it has a tool on the back. Anyway, yes, I've done some roofing. And I knew enough that it wasn't something I wanted to make a living out of. So anyway,
Yeah.
that was me. Although if you're good at it, you can make a good living at any of the trades. So I do not demean those at all. And my friends who were contractors all did very, very well. So that's not a problem in the least. Okay, so now what am I going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull this down because I'm going to show you something. I'm going to pull this dimension down. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag this down here and I'm going to put it right there. And when I do that, you're going to know something that's a little unsettling. My shingles have overlapped that. So that's no good. So I'm just going to redo this. Now watch what happens when I redo this. Okay, I'm going to use the same settings I had before. This is easy to do. I'm just using the same settings. I click inside there. Now notice what happened right there. There's actually a space cleared for the dimension number. All right. So that's something that Hatch does. Hatch has an intelligence about it. So you typically want to put your Hatch on after you put your dimensions or your text down. That's just, something you want to do. Okay, now over here, we've actually got a chimney. And the chimney also has Hatch. So if I click on here, and by the way, I gave you these dimensions also on this right here. I've got them right here. So ARB88 angle 0 scales. When I've got that. So I did it that way. And so you can use this too, okay, because you won't have this, but it'll be on this sheet. That's where the hatch patterns are specified. You use that. So for the chimney, it's ARBRSTD angle 0 scale 1. So I will go ahead and use that. Chimney ARBSTD. All right, so out to here. And I'm going to change this one from the roof. I'm going to go ahead and use hatching. Oh, what did I use for that? Okay, I use okay, I think I use, that's on the, what layers? That's on the hatching layer. Okay, so I'll go ahead and use the hatching layer. And I will do this, make it the hatching layer current. And I will go to hatching right here, ARBRSTD. And when I click inside here, boom, there you have it. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing. If you want to edit it, by the way, once you're done with it, if you click on it, it brings you right back into the editing tool. And I'm going to set the origin again. I'll set the origin, actually starting right back here at the lower left. Actually, it might come against the house, so we go out here. So you do it that way. In any case, that's what you do. So we got that. So now we got some basic hatch. Now we just have to put the elements in that set this other section apart. So to do this now, we're going to go ahead and jump out here. And let's work on this side first of all. Now, each of these windows right here tells us that they're 3 feet wide, side to side, and 4 foot 2 inches tall. 3 foot wide by 4 foot 2, and they're 2 foot 2 inches from the bottom line there. So I'm going to go ahead and put one in here. And this one is actually centered at 3 foot 6 away from here. So what I do here is I do a little bit of a cheat here. This is just how I do it. Just when I'm teaching, I like to make things simple for you guys, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to Windows, and I'm going to start by this. I will make a polyline. I'm going to go here. I'm going to touch it right here, and I want to go over 3 foot 6. So 3 foot 6, boom. And then I go up 2 foot 10, I think is what we said, 2 foot 10, like that. And then I got to go around. I'm going to go over half the distance of the window, which is 18 inches. Then I go up 4 foot 2, 4 foot 2, boom. And then I'm going to go over 3 feet, which is 36. And then down 4 foot 2, 4 foot 2, boom. And then I'll go ahead and I'll touch it right there. All right, now at that point, I put that together, and I don't need this little tail at the bottom right here. So that's something I don't need. So I can just go ahead and I probably should have drawn that without that. But anyway, I'll leave it there because it gives me a handy little handle, and I can delete it later. So for right now, I'm going to leave that there. And I've got that. Now, what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and I want to do a couple of things. Well, let me do this. Let me okay, if I draw a polyline, I want to explode it and just treat it like a line, I can explode it. The explode command is right here under the erase tool. And what I did there is, it was a good idea, but I need to break it up. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to explode it. So I click on this one, explode it. It's no longer all one unit. It's all broken up like that. So I'm going to go here and delete that because I don't need that anymore. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to join this together. So to join it all together, these 4 lines need to be joined together again. So I'm going to highlight them all, and I'm going to type the letter J for join. So I type in J for join, and now it is all one. Pretty cool there. And now there's my window. And now we'd seen before on the details that the mullions were 2 inches typical. Mullions are 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to offset that 2 inches. So I'm going to go here, over here. I'm going to offset that 2 inches. So offset is right here. So I start the offset command, and now I don't want to use through. I want to type in 2 for 2 inches. And then I'll go ahead and I'll click here, and I'll offset that in like that. So we've got that. Okay, so now that I have that, that's in place, and that's great. And then at that point, I could actually begin to copy it over into the different locations. So I go to copy here, and I'll go ahead and grab these. And this needs to go over from here, it needs to go over 7 feet. So I'll just type in 7 feet, and that's already there. So those 2 are in place right there. And then the windows that are actually on the 2nd floor, they are actually supposed to be 11 foot 8 from the bottom. And so what I would do is if I want to know the distance between these, I could just go from here to here, and that's 4 foot 8. That's good. 4 foot 8 is the distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these both up 4 foot 8. So I'm going to copy, and I'll grab this one. And I'll grab this one like that, and I'll click here, and I'll type in 4 foot 8, 4 foot 8, boom. And oh, that didn't go far enough. Why did? Okay, because I yeah, okay, so that didn't go far enough up. Try that again. We'll copy it. I'll just do one at a time. I'll go here. Try that again. And going up here. Oh, you know why? Because I'm picking the top. That's why. So I'd have to say 4 foot 8 plus 4 foot 2. That'd be 9 feet. So I go up 9 feet. So you got to do the math. That's part of life. And then I would copy this over. And let me make sure I got that right before I go any further. So I'll put some dimensions in here just to make sure that everything I have is correct. You know, the midpoint here and pull it down. There's 3 foot 6. That's correct. And this one should also be 3 foot 6. And that is. I'll go ahead and align those like that. And then at that point, what I would do after that is I would measure and make sure they're actually 2 foot 10 from the bottom. And they are. That's great. And then I'll make sure that the last dimension is correct. Right from here, touching that. Okay, no, I didn't want that. So I'll try that again. And we do that 11 foot 10, and that's correct. So we have all that in place right there. So they're looking good. So I got the windows placed. Oh, 11 foot 8. I made a mistake. So I got to fix it. So what I'll do is I'll move those down. I'll move that one down 2 inches, which is what it needs to be. So I'll move that down 2 inches. So here, down 2, and we go to 2. Boom, there it is, 11 foot 8. Okay, so now I've got that, and then I could copy this one over. So I'll go ahead and grab this. And we'll go ahead and copy this one over, and this one needs to go over right to this location here. Go there. So I've got those in place. So that gives me the front part of my house right there. Okay, so this part is all put together. The only other thing I need up here is this window, which we'll get to in a minute. So I've got those, then I've got these other windows here. Now the windows can be placed. This one is 5 feet away from the corner, and this one's 9 feet. And so what I'll do is I'll just get creative here, and I'll go ahead and start to move those. So I'll copy this one over, and I'll go here. And what I'm just gonna go all the way. I'm just gonna copy it right straight. Just gonna copy it right to there. I'll do that. And I'm gonna move it. And here's a little trick. If you want to move the previous selection set, you can type in the letter P and press enter. And it, oh, that wrong one. So I'll move it. Let me try last. Yeah, wrong one. Forget it. Move. We'll just do this. And we'll do this. And we'll move this over from here 5 feet. So we're 5 feet. Boom. And that should be accurate. Let me put a dimension on it and verify that it is. So I'll go from here up to there and pull it down, and that says 6'6". So let's see where we're doing that. Okay, so that went over, okay, 5 feet. And so I went over 1'6" too far, so I just move it. So I'll move it. So I use the move command starting from here. And there's a lot of ways to do this. I know that, but that's just how we go ahead and make that work. So now that I've got that, I'm gonna make a copy 4 feet away from here, because it's got to be, actually, is that 9 feet? I think it was 9 feet. That's got to be 9 feet away. Okay, so go 9 feet. And so we'll go copy this one over here, and we'll go over 9 feet. All right, and let's put a measurement there, verify that we are where we should be. Okay, I've got that right there. All right, now I've got those. And then what I would do is I'd want to copy these up, because they have to go up to be at the same location here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch it from the midpoint here and touch this midpoint here. And that's my object snap tracking lets me do this. And boom, I've got that right there. So now we're looking pretty darn good. And then I've got one more window, which is actually here. And that window is 9 feet over from the other one. So I want to copy that one 9 feet over. So I'll go and do the same thing. So I'll copy this one over 9 feet. And I'll go from here over 9 feet like that. And at that point, that should be pretty accurate. Let's go find out. So I'll go from here to the midpoint of this one. Yeah, it's 9 feet. It's good. All right, and that's how we go ahead and place that. And now we're looking pretty good. So we got that. Okay, we typically take a break right now at nearly 7 o'clock. So I want to honor that, because you know, I've got you guys. I've told you we do that. So I know sometimes people got to put kids to bed or something else, or maybe get a quick bathroom break. There's not going to be much more here. Does anyone need a break right now?
No.
If anyone needs
Not
a
me.
break, it's what's okay. If there's anybody, just say it. If it's okay. All right, we're going to continue on here, because like I said, there's not that much more to do. So we'll just continue on here. So now that we've got this, we've got the basics here. And now I've got this door here. And the door is 7 feet by 3 feet. Okay, and it is centered 9 feet from here, just like we talked about. So it's a 7 foot by 3 foot door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to my door layer. Change my doors layer. And I'm going to start my line command. I'll just use a line command here. And I'll go right from here. And that's got to go over, what was that distance? The distance was
3 feet.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I started in the wrong place. So let me, okay, actually, this is the center point right here. But I could go actually click here and go over 18 like that, I think. And I'll go up 7 feet. 7 feet, boom. And then 3 feet over. Yeah, that should be right. Okay, 3 feet or 36, boom. And then we'll go right down to here and we'll touch it right to there. We'll go ahead and do this. So I've got that and that's in place right here. Now that should be 2'6" away from the other. I'm going to pull this down just to make that clear. All right, so that's looking pretty good. And then I want to put in the door that I have right there. So I've got a couple of rectangles that need to go into that door. So I'll go here to my rectangle and I will go ahead and I will, I want to center these. So actually for this one, oh gosh, yeah, you can just kind of freestyle these right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a, oh, let's see here. I'll make a 18 by 18 foot rectangle. What the heck? And then I'll center it. So I'll go here. I'll click here, make it 18, 18, 18, 18, boom. And it looks like that. And then when I have that, I'm going to move it by clicking on there. And I'm going to go ahead and touch it here and touch it right there. So it's kind of centered there. I'm going to put it somewhere right around there. And then I'm going to copy that. I'm going to show you a cool little trick here. So I'll copy this right up here. And this, you can freestyle this one right here. I'm not going to basically, anything you put on this door is going to be okay. I'm going to let you guys kind of freestyle with that. And I'm going to go up 24 here. I've got that. And once that's in place, I can click this top and just drag it up. So I can go ahead and drag this up just like this. And I can go ahead and go up. What the heck? Let's go ahead and say 24 like that. And that's what that looks like. So that's what I have in place there. I'll get rid of this dimension or move it actually. Move it over to here, which is where it should be, over to there. Like that. Okay, so I've got that, and I'll go ahead and pull that one down. 8 to the bottom. Okay. All right, so now at this point we are looking good, and then I just put a little circle on there to represent the door handle, the doorknob. So here, and I'm going to go ahead and touch here, touch there, and I guess I want to go somewhere over here. Boom, and then we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so we got that. So there's that. Now that was just kind of eyeballed. I'll let you, I'm not good, as long as it's the right dimensions, I'm not going to be too picky about this one. There's one more side light to the door here. And again, I simplified this greatly just to make life easier for you guys. But over here, there's another item on the, that's a 2 foot by 7 foot. So I'm going to make a polyline out of this. And I'm just going to go here and up there. And so I'll type in 2 feet, 7 feet, boom, like that. That'll offset that 2 inches, offset 2 inches for that. I'll go ahead and go here and offset that, and there's that. Okay, so I've got that in place. So now at this point, we've got pretty much most of the detail here. And then I want to turn my attention to this window. Okay, so I got to do this window up here. And the window, okay, looks like this over here. All right, like there. Okay, so how do I draw that? Well, it's actually not that difficult. We're just going to use some basic geometry. And so we see this right here. So the object, as I have it here, I'm just going to go ahead and start to draw it right now. It's 3 feet at the bottom, then it's 1'6". So if I go over here, I can actually show you this. So it's 3 feet along the bottom. And then there's a radius of 1'6" around the outside. And then I just have to do a lot of offsets to make that work, which is what I'm going to do. So back over to here, let's go ahead and make this happen here. So I'm going to change my layer over here to be, looks like I put that on the walls there, which is a little bit weird, but oh well, we'll do that. I'll go with it. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with a polyline and draw a line straight. I'm going to go from, whatever, I'll go from here. Oh, what would the distance be? It's 3 feet, 7 between. So it'd be 2 feet. Yeah, it would be. Like that. Oh, whatever. Let's try that again. Oh, it wouldn't be 2 feet, would it? Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to draw this, and then let's draw a line from here to here. Okay, I'll go here to here. That's what I'll do. Let me try another way. I'll start from this location here. I'll go ahead and click there. I'm going to go over. Now, half of 3 feet is 18 inches, so 18. And then at that point, I'll go and I'll do the same thing over here. I'll make that 18. Okay, now at that point, I want to put in an arc. Okay, and the arc has got to be I'll use an arc option here. So I'll use Start, center, end. I'll use this one right here. So I'll go ahead and say I'm going to start it right here. Here's my center point, and here's my end. I just held my control key down because it's trying to draw it that way. If you hold your control key down, you can do it this way. So I just did that. So I did that, and now that's all together. So at the end of the day, you'd go here and you'd hover your cursor over it. It would say that's 1'6" this way. And then this right here, if I go here, if I click on this object, it tells me that is right there. That is 1'6". And so that is the size of it. It's 1'6". Okay, so we've got all that. So we're good to go there. All right, so now that I've got that in place, I'm going to join that by grabbing all this and typing the letter J, and it joins it together. So now this is one entity. And then I'm going to offset it 1 inch. So offset it 1 inch. Yes, I will. So I'll offset that 1 inch like that. Okay, so I got that. All right, so that's that step right there. And then what I want to do is I want to build out the framework of it. So to do this, I'll start with a line, and I'll go ahead and start from here and go straight up. And I'm going to offset that in each direction 1/2 inch. So 0.5 in each direction. So here and over, and 0.5 that way, and go over there and do this. And it's 0.5 again. So at that point, I got this extra line. Don't need that anymore. I can delete it. So I've got that. And then at this point, you can see where I'm going with this whole thing. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to make sure my polar tracking is turned on at 45 degrees, and it is. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a line starting right from this location here at 45 degrees. And I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. And I'm going to offset that in each direction 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go here like that. And like that. Okay, so I've got that. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw from this point right here. And again, that's at 45 and going over in this direction. It says 135. That's actually correct. Then I'll do the same offset here. Offset 0.5 in each direction. There and there. And then we'll go here. I'll delete the interior lines just to clean all this up. And then I think get rid of this line. I'll get rid of that. And then I can just trim out the different items in here. So I'll use my trim command. I'll use trim, and I'll just go ahead and get rid of the different entities that I don't need. Let's see here, and here. Oh, okay, now for some reason, okay, you know what? Those are not connected. So I got to connect it. So I'll go ahead and extend it so that we don't run into that. I'll extend it out there so that it actually has a good trim point. And I'll do the same thing over here and do that. Okay, and then we will trim it. So I'll use trim. Okay. Trim. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. There we go. Now, okay, so at this point, this is all just kind of like cleanup type work. All right, that's using the trim command. Okay, and now that I've got that, I can place it where I need to. Now I'm going to move it. And right now, since it's centered, I just want to make sure it's centered. And I didn't give you a dimension, so just kind of place it so it looks about right. And in this case, I'm just going to place it a little bit over this location there, and that's good right there. So we're good to go there. So now that's in position right there. When you draw that, the next thing you would do is you would then go ahead and put in your hatching. And the hatching for these areas right here is actually, let me put in my dimensions first of all, make sure I get those. And I'll go ahead and do that. And yeah, I got my 11'8". Then I'll go ahead and go to my dimensions layer, dimensions, and I will go ahead and put some dimensions on here. So I've got that one. I'll go ahead and go from here on down. All right, and then I'll continue on through here. And yeah, here to here. And then I'll go from here over to there. Okay, and then with these dimension lines, by the way, if they're where you don't want them to be, you can actually click on the extension line and pull them down. And that allows you to clean this up. And you got to do 2 of them because there's, because they're connecting right here. So I can do the same thing here. And I'll pull it down to there. I'll grab this one too. Like that. Okay, so we've got that going on right there. Okay, what do we have? Okay, so that looks like that. And we're looking pretty good. Okay, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double click here and I'm gonna put in the notation. If you want to put in notes, we already talked about this, but when you double click on this, it'll show up as purple. And I'll type in TYP like that. And I do the same thing here. I double click on this. And I would type in TYP here as well. Put my cursor at the back of it. Let's try it again. All right. And type in TYP period like that. And that goes ahead and does that. Okay, so I've got that. Now at that point, I've got to put some dimensions in over here too for the door and stuff. So I'll do that, which will go from here to here. And then over here, we would go from here to here. And then we'll do one more here. All right, so that's all, that's, you know, at that point, you're pretty good. And then at that point, once you got all the dimensions in, you would go ahead and you would hatch it. And the hatch that we're going to use is going to be the hatching that we use in this one, which is actually this. And it is called, that one is actually called hatching. And it's angle ANSI 30, it's ANSI 31. The angle is 135 and the scale is 48. So ANSI 131, angle is 135, the scale is 48. So I'll do the same thing here. And I will go ahead and put that in there by going to the hatching layer. And I'll go ahead and do that. So hatching, and I will start the hatching command. And we'll go up to here, ANSI 31. The angle is 135. 135. And the scale is 48. 48, like that. All right, then when I put my cursor in here, boom, put my cursor in here, boom. So I have that right there. Pretty nice. And then I would use the origin. So I'll click on this and I'll go ahead and set the origin for the lower left corner like this, boom, and then the side looks right. And that looks good too. So now at this point, pretty rapidly, it came together, didn't it? So we're looking pretty good there. I've got one more dimension here, actually, that I forgot. So I might have to redo my hatch. I might not have to. But I'll go here and I'll put in one more dimension. This should be 15'8" from here over to here. And when you got that, you go ahead and drop that in somewhere right around there. And that actually looks okay. You don't have to redo your hatch for that. So 15'8" is good. And we are looking good. Now, one thing I'm going to say is over here, there's a little note over here on the far right that says 5-inch gable offset. Okay, that is what's called a leader. Okay, a leader. And so as I work with this right here, I can go and use this. This is my leader. So I click on leader. I'll go ahead and click it here. And I'll go ahead and pull this up here. And I will type in 5-inch gable offset. 5-inch gable offset. Like that. And when I do that, it gives me that. So we are looking pretty darn good. So we'll save it again. All right, now other than that, the last thing that we would need is the chimney detail, which is over here. Now the chimney detail, you can do it a lot of different ways. Over here, you see that you got these details right here. You've got a, you got this 1-inch cap right there. You got this 1-inch cap right there. Let me see, where did that end? Let me see where that 1-inch cap landed. Maybe I might have done that wrong. Yeah, I did. Yep. So I got to go down 1 inch for that. Yep. So I got to redo my chimney. Yeah, because yeah, I'll have to redo the chimney. That's okay. So when I do this right here, it's actually a 1-inch cap right there. And then I would go ahead and draw this object out, which uses the dimensions that we talked about. So I'll go back to here and I will use my profile and I'm going to go over here and go line and I'm going to go down here because first of all I have to go down 1 inch. So 1 inch down and then 1 inch over like that. So I've got, is that right? Is that 1 inch? Hang on, let me look here. It's 3 inches down. Ah, wrong about that. So I want to go down 3 inches. So I'll undo this and go down 3 inches. So go down 3 inches and that gives me that look right there. And then I would go ahead and make these other elements right here. So take a look at this right here. There's a few different ways to draw this out, but you got this. It actually goes and it steps in a distance of, you go in 6 inches on either side, and then it angles up And then we can go ahead and work, so it goes over to 8 inches. So let's see here. So 6 and 6, and then we'll go straight up. All right, and then we'll go ahead and just we'll kind of come back down that way. So let's see here, because it doesn't tell me what that angle is. So okay, yeah, we'll do it they'll do it this way. So what I'll do is to draw this, I will stay on the profile angle. I'll go to line. I will start by going in here, from here 6 inches. So over 6 inches, and I know that's correct. And then at that point, I'm going to go straight up like this. And I'm going to go up a total distance of, let's see here, 6, 6. Did I miss a dimension? I hope not. That's got to be 6. So 6 and 6. So I'll go up 12. What the heck? 12. Boom. And then I'll go over 8. Good. And then down 6. All right. And then over 8. Okay, and then from that, okay, and that gives me that. Okay. Yeah, that's not right. I'm gonna do this a different way. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll start with a center point. Start with the center point here. Go straight up like this. And go straight up like that. Okay, now the distance here, let me make sure I gave this to you. I think I did. Let me go and put a dimension here, down to here. Yeah, it's 6 inches. So it is 6 inches. So no mystery there. So I've got this. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to offset this first of all, 6 inches. So offset, yeah, that's how to do it, 6 inches. So offset this 6 inches to this. Offset, and I'll offset it 6 inches to this side, 6 inches to this side. Okay. And then I'll offset the next one 4 inches over. So I'll offset again, 4 inches. And I'll offset this one 4. And this will give me the basic geometry that I need. So I've got those elements right there. Then I'll offset this line 1 foot right here. So I'll offset this one like this. There, okay. Now we'll offset another one 6. Like that. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can just connect these together and then I can clean it up. So I go from here to there. Right? No, it's not right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so go from here to there. Do the same thing over here. Here to there. Good. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then at that point, it goes up. And then I go over 1 foot. And we're good to go. Okay, 1 foot and 6 inches. Okay, so we'll go from here. That is my 8 inches. So I'm going to go over 2. And then up. So over from here. 2. And then up here. 6. And then 12. And then down again. Like that. Okay, so we got that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim out what I don't need. So go here, boom, get rid of that. And then we will get rid of these, get rid of that. Okay. And then get rid of this, get rid of this, and get rid of these, get rid of these. All right. Okay, I think that's going to be right. Let me put the dimensions on it, make sure that looks right. And I'm not going to keep the dimensions because we talked about that. So I'm going to go here and we go here to here and then we go up. That's 1 foot. That's correct. And then we'll go here to here and that is correct. And we'll actually, these dimensions are much too big. Okay, that's okay. And then we'll go over here and we'll measure here to here. And that's 8. That's correct. And I'll just leave that right there for right now. And make sure this is 6 inches there to there. Boom. And that is okay. So all those dimensions are correct. So we're good to go. So at that point, we don't need those dimensions up there. And then I could hatch the chimney once I've got that all together. So once I've got that in place, I would go ahead and hatch the chimney. Again, that's using the hatching. And I would go ahead and do that. So go to hatch, and the chimney is going to be BRSTD. And using the standard, okay, which we used before, like this. And that's going to be using an angle of 0 and an angle of 1. We'll place it in here. Boom, there it is. That is how that should look. And then we'll do here, we'll go ahead and set the origin, going to here and set the origin to lower left. Boom, you guys are being very patient. Thank you. Okay, so that's how we put that together. And that is how we put that together. Now the bottom of the house is actually it's a dashed line. It's a dashed line underneath. Okay, so the dashed line underneath is simply changing the layer and then drawing the dimensions. So the way this works right here is you've actually got a 42'8" dimension, and then you actually have your foundation right there. So it starts right from the edge and it goes down the 8'8" distance. So we can go ahead and do that. And I'll change my current layer over here to be basement. I'll use basement, and then I'll go ahead and I'll use my line command. And I'll start from here. I'll go down 8'8". 8'8". Boom, there we have it. Then I need to go over to the right 4 inches because my foundation is 42'8". So go 4, and then I'm going to go down. My foundation is 8 inches thick. That's 8. Yep, so 8. Boom. And then 42 feet 8. 42 feet 8, like that. And then we'll just repeat it. So back up this direction, and that's going to be 8. And then back in this direction 4, and that should totally snap right to there. So up there, we'll snap it right to there. Okay, and then once I've got that, I'm going to finish the cement cap by just drawing here and then all the way across. And that is that right there. So I've got those. Now the other elements that I need to place here, this is actually a 10-inch wall right here. So I'll offset that 10, offset 10, offset this 10 inches like this, like that. And then I'll offset this one on the far right, 10 inches. You got that. And then I got one more here that's going to be offset a foot. So I'll go ahead and just run that down. And I'll go right from where this projection is straight down. And I'll offset that one over to the right 12. Okay, here and over like that. And we have that. I'm going to offset this last line 4 inches. So offset 4 inches, which is like a little concrete cap there. And then we just trim out the different elements that we don't want. And we just go ahead and clean that up. So trim it out. And we go here, trim that out. And we go over here and we trim this out. I think. Maybe not that. So we leave that. And then we'd also trim out the far end here. Okay. And how are we doing there? Yeah, I think that's right. And then we do trim. I think we do that. Okay. And so when you're all done, you just notate that. And that's it. That's pretty much what we do. And this is how we put together an elevation. So again, an elevation is one of those things that's actually one of the more simple of the different things. And so we're going to go to our text layer, and I'm going to put a label down here. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to put in my text. So I don't see any text right now. So as I'm putting this in here, the text height says 1/4 inch. I'm going to change something here. I'm going to change this by going here. I'm going to use multiply text. I'm going to click on the first corner, and then I'm going to right click my mouse, and I'm going to choose height. And for the height, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose, let's see here. How about would 12? How about 12 would probably work. All right, that's a little bit small, but that's okay. So we'll go ahead and go there, and I just put my text there. I'm going to type in front elevation. Like that. Okay, so as I got that, that looks about right. And I made that text 1 foot large. You could make it 12. And I just move that over. And we are good. And that is pretty much it. And that's it. You put the dimensions on and so forth. So I'm going to save that. And that is all I've got. Okay, that's all I've got for tonight. So we got that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go up here. And I'm gonna stop the